I think my ponytail's too tight. Hi everybody, my name is Rosalie and welcome back to my channel, back to Chubby. Today is another Do It With Me weight loss video for the first time in a while. I will be meal prepping with you, but it is not something I necessarily planned on. Let me back up. So essentially, our freezer is full of stuff we haven't used in a long time. Since I've been meal prepping, usually I buy enough for the week and then that's what we have that week. So we've got stuff in our freezer that is either freezer burned or needs to be tossed out, or just really needs to be used so there can be some more room for other stuff in there, or so that like if I meal prep and make too much, I can freeze that. Long story short, I'm just trying to use up stuff that we have in the fridge and that we have in the freezer. So this week is very simple. We are doing sort of an egg bake thing, but I will get to that in a second. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving, or just a good week if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Mine was delightfully uneventful. There was no drama, and for the most part, I stuck to my plan. Mostly. So when we went out to eat, I had one thing on the menu and it was fine, but I probably overdid it on chips and salsa because I wasn't keeping track and I was really hungry for some reason. And I had alcohol, which I know makes me bloat, but I just did. And on Thanksgiving itself, I did what I planned on, and I had just a moderate amount of everything I wanted, and the only thing I had seconds of was mashed potatoes and gravy. So the meal itself was not my problem. It was afterwards, and that night with all the leftovers there, and then the next day with all the leftovers there, and just like sort of slowly grazing when I did not intend to and did not mean to and probably should not have. So let's be honest, I'm probably gonna gain weight this week. That's on me. Another thing that I guess I should talk about, as many of you know, I have been trying to work out more and walk more, and I had been shooting for about 10 miles a week, which I did not think was that big of a deal. Our doctor says that you should shoot for about 10,000 steps a day, just in an average day, to be a normal, healthy person. That's 5 miles for me. So that's just to be an average, normal, healthy person, I should walk about 10,000 steps, 5 miles in a day, over the course of a day, obviously, not all at once. Well, in the course of my normal day, I don't walk 10,000 steps. I walk maybe 1,000 to 2,000 steps. I work at home, and then I work in an office. I don't walk that much. So I've been trying to really ramp it up the past couple weeks. And some days I'll only walk like 1.5 miles, maybe a mile, and that's still way more than I normally do. Well, I thought that would be fine, because I was trying to keep myself from overdoing it and not hurting myself, because that's one of the big reasons I didn't work out for a long time, was because I didn't want to hurt myself, and I have a tendency to overdo it and hurt myself when I start working out again. I thought I was being pretty moderate, but apparently I was using them too much too fast, and I have IT band syndrome, so whenever I put weight on my knee, there's like a stabbing, burning pain, and it sucks. So I mean, even like putting my knee down, barely touching it on like the bed to get in, or even like trying to roll over and hitting my knee, or laying on my stomach and hitting my knee, there's like stabbing pains in my leg now. And I'm used to like some burning pain because I've got arthritis in both my knees, and I'm used to some like sudden sharp pains, but this is a new pain, so I'm not used to it yet. So that's exciting. So after the past couple weeks going strong, exercising more, I'm supposed to lay off of it a little bit and go back to not walking so much and give it time for the inflammation to die down a little bit. So I tried. I'm gonna keep trying, but apparently after a little while. Anyway, let me go ahead and show you the meal prep for this week, where I'm just trying to use up some stuff that we have, and then we will go from there. There were several things in my fridge that really needed to be used and were taking up quite a bit of space. Starting with this ham. So I'm going to begin by dicing it up into fairly small cubes, putting it into a couple baking dishes, and then I'm going to throw in some frozen broccoli, which was also taking up quite a bit of space, about half a cup of cheese in both pans, and then finally I had a dozen eggs that I hadn't touched. So I'm going to crack them into a bowl, poke the yolks with a fork, and then whisk them up, and then pour them into a pan. I'm going to mix it up just a little bit and then throw it in the oven at about 400 degrees for a little while. When it's done, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more cheese on top and let that cheese melt while it cools. And there you have it. Okay, so I want to talk about how long to cook it for first. I didn't forget about it this time, but it's one of those things where I put it in for like 10 minutes, then checked on it, and it seemed completely just not cooked at all. And I put it in for another 10 minutes and checked on it, and it still seemed barely cooked. I put it in for like another 5 minutes and it was burnt. So it's just one of those things where you've just got to watch it really closely. I'm not sure if there's a better way to do it. I've done egg bakes before at this temperature and they came out fine. I've done it at like 350, 325, they came out fine. I've done it for shorter times at higher temperatures and they came out fine. I'm not sure what happened this time. Also, just a side note, the broccoli that we had was frozen, but I steamed it in the bag before I put it in there. Not to the point where it was like burning hot, but just so that it wasn't frozen and was about room temperature with everything else. So I don't think that was the issue. I don't know what happened, but just watch it. But I'd say at least 20-ish minutes at 400 degrees for one of those little pans. Obviously, I put up my Christmas tree. That's about it. The rest of my house is just a wreck right now. It's a disaster. There's like this one clean area of the house because the tree was gonna go there. The box for the tree is still in the other room. The tub for the lights is out. I mean, I guess we got like the lights up on the house and stuff, but overall this place is a mess and I'm not gonna be able to have time to clean it until tomorrow. So I don't actually know if I'll have time to clean it tomorrow. One of these days I'll get it clean. Anyway. Well, I guess I better clean it sooner rather than later because I have someone coming over this weekend. Anyway, there's just a couple other things I want to talk about real quick. The first of which is BetterHelp, which is the mobile counseling service I use. I keep saying I'm going to do sort of an update on the service overall, which I definitely will, and sort of my own mental hang-ups, because I still have plenty. But we're starting to get into the time of year where it gets dark really early where I live. I don't get out of work while it's still light out. My husband doesn't get out of work until it's been dark for like an hour and a half. There have been some times, especially like today, just driving home, I was just recognizing in myself that feeling that I start to get where I'm just down when I have no reason to be. In fact, not just when I have no reason to be, because that's not how depression works, but when I have reason to actually be happy, and when I have reason to celebrate or reason to be thankful or grateful or excited, and I still just feel meh. Anyway, I just wanted to throw out there that talking to somebody or having someone to talk to about it, especially a professional, helps me. So if you are also one of the people who feels like you need to talk to somebody, especially during this time of year, I encourage you to do it. And I recommend BetterHelp, so there's a link in the description box if you want to give them a try. And if not, I encourage you to talk to somebody. Anyway, on that super uplifting note, you guys can find me on social media with the username Back to Chubby, all one word. You can talk to me on there. You can leave me a comment down below. I don't usually have time to respond to every comment on here, but I do read every single one, whether I'm like, you know, waiting in line or just walking from place to place. I do read every single comment you send me, but sometimes it's a little bit easier for me to respond on platforms where I don't get so many comments. So you can find me on Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter, etc. And if social media is not really your thing, you can find my P.O. box in the description down below and send me a letter or a postcard or something. I hope wherever you guys are, you are safe and happy and healthy. Remember to just keep trying the best you can in all ways, in all things, whether it's weight loss or something else. And I will see you guys on Friday. Bye.